This is Bruce Jansen for IMNG Medical Media at the American College of Cardiology meeting, where I'm speaking with Dr. Dean Kariakis about an investigational monoclonal antibody for very potent LDL lowering. Dr. Kariakis, what magnitude of LDL lowering are we talking about here?
Well, these are patients who are already on atorvastatin in doses of 10, 20, or 40 milligrams. And when administered in addition to the dose of atorvastatin, the monoclonal antibody REGN 727 was able to achieve between 48 and 72% further reduction in LDL cholesterol over a 12-week time frame. And that's a dramatic relative reduction. And we found that not only was there a dose response, but the dose interval was also important too. Giving a specific dose, 150 milligram, on every 2-week basis subcutaneously provided the greatest lowering of LDL as compared to giving either a 200 or 300 milligram dose every 4 weeks subcutaneously.
Do you see a substantial target population for a drug like this?
I think this is a quantum step in cholesterol lowering therapy because there are many patients who don't reach the targets for patients at high risk who have had prior vascular events or procedures. Trying to achieve an LDL cholesterol less than 70 can be extremely challenging in clinical practice because patients either can't get there when they take the max dose of currently approved medicines, or they can't tolerate 1, 2, or even 3 medicines that we give them in combination in an attempt to get them to their target.
What's the side effect profile look like?
So far, the side effects have been, I won't say none, but slim to none. The only side effect that has raised any concern, I think, in one isolated case is leukocytoclastic vasculitis, which is described in the manuscript.
And what are the plans for phase 3 definitive study?
Well, I think the obvious next step is to take it into a higher risk population, patients with vascular events. The patients in this current trial, the 183 patients that were followed over 12 weeks of therapy, were not high risk. They were just patients that had elevated cholesterol despite being on atorvastatin. I think the obvious next step is to go into a higher risk, go into a population that has had vascular events, revascularization procedures, a larger number of patients, and in addition to looking at the biochemical efficacy, which is degree of lowering in LDL or other ApoB particles, which we also found, interestingly, a significant reduction in lipoprotein(a), LP(a) levels, which is really, I think, an interesting observation, one we need to look at because there's not very many medications, most notably niacin, that can reduce LP(a), which is also not very well tolerated in general. So in addition to the biochemical endpoints, I think it's time to look at some clinical endpoints, and those would be events, vascular events.